you're not meant to understand everything in Tenet. It's not all comprehensible. It's this sort of...
It has been said online that Tenet isn't really a movie to be understood. Even Christopher Nolan himself stated this, not only in the interview you just saw, but also in the movie.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
Okay, fair enough. But knowing Christopher Nolan, a guy who has already said that for those who want to learn, there's always something more to be seen in his films. Could it be that, beyond just feeling it, can we actually grasp something from all the heavy exposition and dialogue that Nolan wrote for this movie? Stick with me, and let's try it. Tenet is a film about entropy, one of the fundamental tenets of physics that governs the entire universe and basically refers to the measurement of disorder or the level of molecular agitation in our bodies. Put it simply, entropy reveals to us that the movie is dealing with chaos, order, or disorder. And the scientific breakthrough the story presents us with is that, through a major discovery made by a scientist, there is now the possibility of breaking this natural law. We're dealing, then, with a world in which different timelines are becoming increasingly intertwined. Different groups begin to act based on what is presented to us as the grandfather paradox. If I travel back in time and kill my ancestors, would I still exist? In other words, can I break from the past? Can I act in a revolutionary way without consequences? Is it possible to destroy the timeline, my lineage, and still exist on my own? The answer in itself doesn't matter, because the revolutionary terrorists who want to break the continuity and laws of the universe believe they can do so without consequences. And that's where the film makes it very clear. You must choose the tenets, the principles you live by. To break or not to break the social and cultural connection between past, present, and future. In a complete Cold War scenario, the audience finds itself in a survival game for humanity, where there's a clear clash between generations. The present generation is under attack from the future, from those who hold revolutionary ideals, while the organization Tenet, whose name itself contains a principle of inversion but also of continuity, believes in civilizational legacy, inheriting tradition and preserving the link between past, present, and future. Trying to maintain the natural order in civilizational continuity, the group was founded by a character who doesn't even know he created it yet. We're introduced to him as a nameless man, an American spy who is kind of a good man, seeks to save people that weren't his responsibility, prefers to die rather than betray his comrades, is brave, and does what's necessary to fulfill his mission. After sacrificing himself for his team, he discovers a kind of life after death, a new world he didn't even know existed. A twilight world where there are no friends at dusk, the relations are dominated by uncertainty, moral lines are blurred, and it's hard to know what's right or wrong, whether there's truly a moral code or if the person beside you is even trustworthy. A world where ignorance is our ammunition, lying is standard operating procedure, and the policy is to suppress. Thrown in the middle of this chaos, he still denies, for instance, to take a child as a hostage, and as time goes by and he starts to understand how this world really works, he embarks on a journey where he's invited to stop being led and made fool by others and start taking control of his own mission, to become the protagonist of his own story. It's from this point on that he begins to learn, to perceive, and to invite others within the world of espionage to look at the world in a new way. He still can act from instinct and still has the freedom to choose what he does. So to him, even in this line of work, it's still possible to do something good and be morally good. He asks for someone else's word, even when it's said that it doesn't worth much. And despite being a calculated, slightly colder problem solver character, his true mission only appears after he dies to himself, lets go of his self-interest, and in this new, renewed life, saves the world and gives hope to other people. Like he did for Kat, that should represent the emotional connection the audience feels with the story. We meet her as a woman possessed by Satyr, a sick soul, dominated by possessiveness, who believes that if he can't have something, then no one can. A broken person who made a deal with the devil, he traded time for money, believes in absolutely nothing, and represents a deeper void, the disbelief in anything greater than oneself. Completely controlled by him, Kat begins her journey as someone who can't fight back and only begs for freedom. Through her contact with the protagonist, she is given a second chance, an opportunity to reclaim her freedom and seek revenge not just against her husband for what he did, but more profoundly, for showing her the darkest side of herself. The moment when she considered abandoning her own son, the person who was everything to her, the meaning of her life.
Chance to help save my child, you can't know what that means to a mother.
Her own journey in the story also has this need of ceasing to be a hostage and taking back the lead, of reclaiming control of her life and fighting with her own hands to regain her freedom, getting her hands dirty and nearly losing her life in the process. But throughout and because of this struggle, after facing death, she returns stronger, no longer looking at life with desperation. Unlike her husband, who believes in nothing, she believes in the future and raises her son, Maximilian, who in the future will be recruited by the protagonist and, by the inverted last four letters of his name, is revealed to be Neil. In his own final speech, he introduces the organization Tenet as a kind of a heroic group, or at least one that lives a life of hidden sacrifice. They have died to themselves, and now live with faith. Faith in reality, in the mechanics of the universe and in the natural order. They begin their mission by respecting how reality works, not trying to reverse the natural order or force the world into something it's not. Instead, they use their freedom to help preserve the natural state of the universe. Being the ones who saved the world from what might have been, they are, arguably, hidden heroes, people who sacrifice their lives to preserve the connection between past, present, and future, so that each generation live in the present and looks out for its own survival. Not surprisingly, within the structure of the story, Neil is exactly the one who pulls the whole mission together. He's like the bomb that didn't go off. By freely sacrificing himself to sew everything together, he becomes a living demonstration of the power of a single human life, of what one person can do. An enthusiast of humanity, Nolan intends to say that the bomb that didn't go off is like a human being who, through one choice, in an act of free will and in hidden sacrifice, changes the course of everything. Neil took the reins of the situation and, by doing so, held the fabric of reality together. You too can change your own life, just like Neil, Catherine, or the protagonist did, and through hidden sacrifice, through choosing to keep the connection between past, present, and future alive, and freely choosing to fulfill the mission you received in this world. In doing so, by taking reality as the foundation of our dreams and using our freedom to seek what is good, we might become not a sign of contradiction or revolution, but a unifying force for humanity. Okay, is this enough? Beyond all the theories in the internet, did we manage to get something useful out of this? Let us know in the comments. The truth is, Nolan didn't make a film that's meant to be crystal clear. It's not just about the message in the script, as he himself and some interesting video have pointed out. In many ways, I see this film as a kind of mashup of Nolan's personal interests, a salad of Michael Mann's influence, a James Bond homage, mixed with science, physics, time, and this existential concern about environment and the end of the world, and how we, as humans, use our freedom and take control of our lives. As always, Nolan tried to innovate, to challenge the audience, and himself. But I kept wondering, how far is too far when you choose to walk away from traditional storytelling tools? Having Nolan as a big reference, I've always liked and defended the film in conversations with my friends. I enjoyed digging into it, finding new meanings. But rewatching it now to make this video, I realized that while there are some really interesting reflections for life, the film itself didn't grab me again. Maybe it's this A well-structured story is what gives a movie lasting power. You can't just lean on spectacle in an unbalanced way. Movies that reward rewatching are great, but today, I might say Nolan may have gone too far on this one and lost control of his own writing. But what do you think? I want to read it in the comments. Please share, subscribe, and thank you.